Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have a return appearance from our friends from the Southern California Hospice Foundation. We've got Michelle Wulfestieg. How you doing, Michelle?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. Got Denise Goodson, widow of, is it Solon?
Solon.
Solon. Thank you very much. I guess we're going to hear that story over there. And Christal Aikey, daughter of Solon Goodson, talking about the experiences that both of you had with this wonderful foundation. Let's just start with you, Michelle. How long have you been with the foundation?
I've been with the foundation for about 15 years. I started in 2010 as the first employee and really helped to grow the organization into what it is today. We're a nonprofit organization that works with terminally ill children and adults throughout Southern California to help meet any needs that reach beyond the scope of what the hospice benefit covers.
Right, exactly. So before we turn it over to Denise and Christal, talk about the story we're going to talk about.
So we're going to talk about Solon's story at our Heavenly Home. The Heavenly Home is Orange County's first nonprofit end-of-life care facility. We opened last February, and Solon was one of our residents there. And so we're going to talk about his experience and the impact we were able to make on his life.
Right, exactly. So, Denise, quite an impact, correct?
Well, Heavenly Home is the most wonderful place I can imagine for somebody to spend their last days. Mm-hmm. Of course, when he first got there, he wanted to be at home, but it didn't take any time for him to be totally content because the caregivers became like our family. And he just always raved over the food and everything. I mean, it was just a wonderful place. The caregivers were with him. He never had to ask for help because they were always right there asking, do you need anything?
Right. So how much were you there with him?
I was there all day, every day.
Right. Exactly. So you're experiencing this and you're seeing him, absolutely, maybe transform is not the right word over there, but mentally just absolutely embracing this place, correct?
Exactly.
Right.
And I felt so comfortable leaving him at the end of the day because they would sit with him at night and chat and watch TV with him. And it was just like a family.
Right. And Christal, you feel the same way?
Absolutely. I have known Michelle for over 20 years, and as soon as my dad got sick, I knew exactly who to call. And she immediately set me up with the Hospice Foundation and Heavenly Home. And this is a beautiful home. To describe it, it's a private, it was a private home rebuilt on a cul-de-sac. And to see it outside, you wouldn't know anything about what's going on inside other than just love and tenderness. And if anybody at end of life needed someplace to go, that would be the place. And you really can't even describe it with the beautiful words that we are and that Denise reflected on. This place it's a beautiful home. I think it's 6 bedrooms, houses 8.
Yep. 24/7
care. You can't get better care anywhere. And we've looked for the care for my father, and it's excuse the term, you get a lot of bang for your buck there. It's a fabulous place.
So how long was your dad there?
3.5 months.
Yeah, December through April, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm not sure if I told you this, Michelle, and, this is what attracted me to the story, when Judy first got it in touch and, pitched it over here. My mom had the same experience at a place in Palm Desert called Britannia Lodge. Unbelievable. Mom was there 10 months, 6 bedrooms.
Yeah.
These guys had like a $4 billion year waiting list.
Wow.
But just like what you folks did, Solon, is the fact that they just treat you like you are, a king or a queen in that area. Talk about the training of the people that work at Heavenly Home.
Well, we're licensed as a residential care facility for the elderly, and it's a 6-bed facility. And our staff, before they even have any experience with our residents, they have to go through 40 hours of training. So we make sure that they're trained through, shadowing, in-person training, also through videos. And the most important part is being present with the patients and just really giving them whatever makes them happy. And that's our goal, especially at the end of life, is just to make them as comfortable and peaceful as possible.
Right, exactly. So obviously you spent a lot of time there with Denise and Christal.
Yes,
because it's the whole family as well in this, and as you said, Denise, and both Christal. I mean, from the time that your husband got there, Denise, things were just amazing on this. What would you do if somebody said, "I need a place to go"?
I would say Heavenly Home.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's right. And again, for the reasons that you were just said, is that they when you come and you take care of people at the end of life, you've got to be the biggest experts when it comes to listeners. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have to be empathetic, you have to be kind, you have to do all those things. But talk about how well they listen to your needs.
They were just in there all the time. They would talk to him and share, watching TV, and they were just like having a member of the family sitting there with him, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, now, Christal, were you there pretty much every day as well?
Yes, I was pretty much every day. And another thing I'd like to highlight on that is my dad loved art. So he was only a painter, he was a drawer. And of course, towards his end of the days, he was having a hard time. So Denise would buy some coloring books. And so we would sit there every day. I would color, and he would love to have a painting or a coloring, his color on his wall. He would have the caregivers, or he wouldn't have them, but they would sit there with him and color. And here, draw this today for me. Heavenly Home would bring whatever you wanted. They would have special days. I can't say enough about it. They bring Santa in, they bring the Easter Bunny in, they bring a pirate in, whatever your fancy, they would make it happen for you.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think, what's so important about all of this, anyone that's had to been through that experience, with a loved one that's in their final days or months, whatever the case may be. And I think you guys just ooze this out, and Michelle, really credit to Heavenly Home, is the dignity of the person that is in their final days. Things have changed a little bit in their life and how they do things and all that business. Talk about how important that is.
It is so important. I remember, whenever I would go in and see Solon, I would say, "Oh, it's so good to see you." And he would say, "It's good to be seen." And I think that is a reflection of our efforts to make every person that comes to our Heavenly Home feel valued and feel seen. And that has to do with the dignity that we provide.
Right. There's no question about it. We're chatting with our friends from the Southern California Hospice Foundation, Michelle Wulfestieg. She is the executive director of the foundation, joined by Denise Goodson, widow of Solon Goodson, a client, I guess that's the best way to call it. I'm going to say a family member of Heavenly Home. That's even a better way of saying it. Family member of Heavenly Home, and Christal Aikey, the daughter of Solon. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 18th year. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, broadcasting in these very cool Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed for more than 6 decades, doing great things in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, literacy, art, people in need, and all that business. They are there shoulder to shoulder, on this. So, Michelle, so Heavenly Home has room for 8 people?
Six people.
6 people, okay,
Yep.
right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Is there a waiting list?
Sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. So it depends. We only accept residents on hospice. So that's a criteria to come to our facility. And because we don't know how long they're going to be there, it just really depends on if we have a waiting list or not. Our shortest length of stay was 6 hours, and our longest length of stay has been 15 months.
Yeah.
So it just varies depending upon the person.
Right, exactly. And, I know my mom was there. She wasn't in hospice when she first got there, but they can transition to it. But she was there about 11 months, And just like the experience that your husband had, Denise, and your dad, Christal, it's made all the world to us. And I was there with my mom. It was Palm Desert, so I couldn't be there every single day, but I was there every other week. And it was just like, fine, we're going to watch movies and all that. And they treated her like the impact it had on my brother and I. Paul didn't get a chance to come down as much, was just huge in this. We come back from break. I want to talk a little bit more about the experience. But I want to save some time to what our listeners can do to support what you folks are doing, and advice that both Christal, you and Denise would have for people that are in this area. Obviously, you're going to promote Heavenly Home, of course, on this, but let people know that end of life doesn't have to be horrible.
Right.
It could be family-like, and it was with your example over here, and gratifying. And I will say this, that, because I have so much fond memories of, it was called Britannia Lodge, like you have of Heavenly Home. I can't stop talking about it. I hope they're in business when I'm ready to go. So for God's sake, can you hang on for another about X amount of years? Hopefully it's a ways down the road on that. And I go, as you mentioned, Christal, you've known Michelle for a while, and this was a no-brainer to contact her. So we can talk about that when we return to our conversation with Southern California Hospice Foundation right after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We are talking to our friends at Southern California Hospice Foundation, Michelle Wulfestieg. She is the executive director of the foundation, joined by Denise Goodson, a widow of Solon Goodson, a family member of Heavenly Home. We're going to go with that over there. And Christal Aikey, the daughter of Solon. But I want to talk a little bit about Solon's life. What did he do? He worked at UCI, is that right?
He was the most active person. I could name a dozen volunteer things he was involved in.
Oh, bless his heart.
He volunteered at UCI after he retired for 20 years. And he was an ambassador at the John Wayne Airport for 20 years. And we were active in supporting veterans and went to Camp Pendleton every Friday to serve hot dogs to the Marines. And he was just active in so many different activities like that.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And Christal, you saw that, obviously, growing up, all the phenomenal work that he did giving back, correct?
Well, not only that, he was a Korea War veteran as well. He was in the Navy.
Thank you for being the daughter and the wife of someone who served.
Thank you. Yeah, he was just an amazing man. I don't think I've ever seen him angry. I don't think he ever got angry. I'm sure he did, but it wasn't in front of me. Maybe
one of his favorite sports teams lost or something like that.
If only the Angels lost, yeah, he'd get upset maybe. That's about it. Yeah, he was just a great guy, and we traveled, and we had so much fun together, and he's obviously missed deeply, and we think about him, and we laugh with him or about him constantly. But he did a lot of volunteering. He had to stay active. He was always doing something. And then towards the very end, I would say maybe years, let's just say, he picked up his art. He would draw, he would paint, paintings all over the house, and he would give them to folks. And he just really liked that as well as a hobby.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, what a great way, for him to end his life in this heavenly home, with the respect and the love and the care. It's the way we all should go in that vein over here. So, Michelle, what can our listeners do to really support what you are doing?
Well, they can become a hospice volunteer, and they can certainly become a volunteer at the Heavenly Home. They can give of their time, their talent, or their treasure. So let's say they're a photographer and they want to help photograph one of our patients, or do a final family portrait, or do art with one of the residents. They can certainly do that. And then also treasure, we always need donations to help sustain us. We're a nonprofit, so we have fundraisers. We have a golf tournament coming up at the Newport Beach Country Club on September 16th, and we would love to have our golfers come out and support us at that. So there are a lot of ways to get involved.
Very, very, very good. And Denise, as you talk about, your husband and so forth, all these, these fond memories and so forth. Have you volunteered up at the foundation?
I haven't been able to.
Okay,
but I would love to.
Yeah, very well. Just being a supporter.
This is brand new to me.
Oh, okay, very, very good. Yeah. How about you, Christal?
I haven't personally volunteered at Heavenly Home. Right. I have talked to Shauna about it, her house manager.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but Dad and Denise used to volunteer a lot everywhere with different organizations. I think the thing I would really like to pump up about Heavenly Home and or hospice in general is not a lot of people know about it. They don't want to talk about end of life. I can't say enough about asking your physicians or even the hospital staff if your family member is perhaps towards end of life about it, because it's so helpful. It's such a relief. I had another family member that died of ALS, my biological mother. I didn't know anything about hospice, and she should have been in a Heavenly Home type environment for sure. So I encourage our listeners, or your listeners, to look online about Heavenly Home, get some information about Southern California Hospice or your local hospice foundation, and maybe even volunteer sitting with the elderly, going in and just holding their hand, because then some of them don't have family members and they die alone, and they just holding a hand, watching TV means so much. Might mean so much to an individual.
Well, it does, and how sad it is, and there are a lot of people that fall into that. Christal, as you're saying, that you folks were able to spend time with Solon, obviously, and be there and see this great care that you were getting. And some don't have that aspect of it. Their relatives have passed away, or they live in Timbuktu and they can't do this. But I want to get back to something you said, Christal, that you're absolutely spot on, and I understand it to an extent. When people are reluctant to talk about end of life, I can't imagine not doing it for my kids, and maybe because of the experience I had with my mom. She was so prepared for this, and she was 95 years young when she passed away, and was just a phenomenal woman. My dad passed away in 1978. Mom had 32 great years with him and 41 years afterwards, But you know what? The bottom line was she was prepared and ready, let us know what was going on. What a relief in this aspect of it. And you're right, it may be tough to talk about, but it is such a great relief of a burden for the kids, for the spouses, and all this when it is talked about. How much counseling do you give on that, Michelle, to people?
We talk about the importance of pre-planning all the time, having your advance directive in place, talking to your children about what your wishes are. It is so important. And the number one thing we hear from the patients and families we serve is, I wish I would have known about hospice sooner. And it goes back to us being a death-denying society. We worry about, how will my mom feel if I talk about her funeral plans or her health in terms of that she might die. Well, all of us are going to have our end at some point. And so we might as well be prepared for it to make it as comfortable and dignified as possible.
It is the right thing to do for everybody. It's
Yes.
the right thing to do for the spouse. It's the right thing to do for the kids, the grandkids, and everybody else in this aspect. So we just had a trusted attorney on my show, and can't talk enough about trust.
Yes.
And say, are you kidding me? For the $3,000 to $5,000 you pay for the trust will beat the $200,000 you're paying in probate. Are you
Absolutely.
kidding? Or whatever the number is in this aspect of it. And I get it. It was the same conversation we had, Michelle, and Christal was bringing up, was people for some reason don't want to talk about this. But listen, it's part of the life cycle.
Exactly.
Might as well talk about it and get it squared away so you can enjoy. And I know I'm taken care of, if it's a heavenly home or whatever the case may be on this. So how do you get a hold of people to let them know? I mean, obviously it's a personal choice of when you want to talk about end of life.
Well, our phone number is 877-661-0087. You can call me anytime, and I would be happy to talk to you, or you could talk to one of our representatives. We have a website, SoCalHospiceFoundation.org. You can look us up and learn more about us. But, if you don't reach out to us, reach out to somebody, whether it be a physician or a friend, because talking about end of life is so important because all of us will face it.
Right. And I think the best people besides yourself is to talk to people like Denise and to Christal, because they've lived it. Mm-hmm. They've lived it, and they're so thankful of it. Denise, any final comments you'd like to say?
Yes, I was thinking there was no way we could have taken care of him at home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it would have cost more to bring people into the house to take care of him. And he was a big person. He was 6'5" and 250 pounds. So there's no way we could do that at home by ourselves. Mm. And having the caregivers, that they had a team, they just took excellent care of him.
Yeah, I mean, mental and physically on this. Christal, any final comments?
Well, she recapped it really well. I guess I would just continue to reiterate the fact that just do some research on your own about your local hospice place. Don't take no for an answer. There is help out there, but do remember Southern California Hospice. Obviously, they service the whole area of Southern California, obviously. And there should be Heavenly Home in every county, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what we're working towards.
Yes.
Well, it makes a big difference. So thank you so much. Good chatting with you again, Michelle. Denise, thanks for you coming in, and Christal to share the story. You. We can't talk about this stuff enough. This is why everyone should, because doggone well that when people are facing end of life and they're worth Heavenly Home and people like this, it is a life changer, not just for that short time or the longer time that the person's there. It's for you guys forever. You are going to remember that experience for the next 40 more years you're on this planet over here. So thank you so much for coming in, telling your personal stories, wishing you, Michelle, nothing but great success moving forward. And maybe Denise, we'll see you and Christal volunteering up there. I like to give away assignments that I don't have to do. I would be happy to do it, but it's a little too far away from me on that. But really great work you're doing. Just wishing nothing but great success moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We are now in our 18th year, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things for people living in San Diego County. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.